Right. Well, welcome you guys to Blissful Flow. So close to Christmas. We are going to be using a strap today. I already have them looped for you. With what we're going to be doing, they have to be looped a certain way and they need to be 8 feet. So luckily in the studio, all of ours are, well, most all of them are 8 feet in length. But if you were to purchase them online or in a store, oftentimes they're 6 feet. And so be aware of that. If you really enjoy the sequence that we do at the end, you're going to want an 8-foot strap. And it may be that you don't need it at all, but we'll see when we get there. So I wanted to share, yesterday was the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year and the darkest day of the year. And it represents the death and the rebirth of the sun. Because the days get shorter and shorter, that's the shortest day of the year. Then all of a sudden, starting today and moving forward, the daylight gets longer and brighter. And so it's very symbolic. And they say solstice actually means stillness of the sun. And yesterday, for that reason, and in the energy right before and today in the aftermath, it's a good time to find some time to rest and to reflect. With it being close to the end of the year, it's been celebrated in many different cultures, many different times and centuries over the course of the years. There's lots of celebrations that usually happen at the solstice. I know that Stonehenge is a big gathering place for the solstice because the sun gets framed by the formations. But anyway, with the solstice, a good thing to kind of consider is what energies you need to release and let go of. And that's also a good thing to reflect on at the end of the year. Like, how has this year been for you? And have you been in a holding pattern? Have you noticed or become aware of things that may be stunting your growth or keeping you bound? Whether that's toxic relationships or whether that's negative thinking or poor habits, anything of that nature. And it's also a good time to actually journal and to set some intentions for new beginnings, especially since New Year's is right around the corner. Monday, when we were leaving the studio, Mandy, who's normally here, who's a functional doctor, she left and she was saying, you know, I've decided what my New Year's intention is going to be. She says, I've decided, you know, most people will diet or they'll fast or do something like that. She goes, I've decided I'm going to fast with my thoughts. And I thought, well, that's really cool, because she started a new business a few months ago. And it's been a hard start. It's been a challenge, especially during this thing that we're going through. And you know, your mind can get caught up on that hamster wheel. And she was like, I'm going to fast for my thoughts, create some space. And I'm like, what a great yogic intention. So what we're going to be leading up for today, and the reason why we have the strap out, we're going to lead up to the lotus position. And the lotus position is where the feet are kind of tucked up on the lap. Doesn't mean you have to get into the full lotus. We're going to try to prepare to get into the full lotus. If we're not able to get into the full lotus, we're going to be using the strap. And we're going to help to maintain some sort of bind so that we can do some fun poses while the feet are in somewhat of that formation, if not the full formation. And I want you to know that lotus goes very well with the symbology of the winter solstice, because just as the solstice represents a rebirthing, so does a lotus flower. A lotus flower is a big symbol of the East, more of Asia, but also in Egypt. You'll see it in a lot of hieroglyphics. And the lotus represents regeneration, rebirth, enlightenment, transformation, and purity. So we're going to start actually on our backs, and we're going to go ahead and use the strap. So the strap is going to wrap around the body, and you're going to bring it underneath. You're going to lower down to your back, and you're going to take your right foot. You may want to watch me just a minute if you've never done this. When we suspend the leg up, if the strap is too tight, you can loosen it. If it's too loose, you can tighten it by pulling on that loose tab. So basically you're wanting to find enough tightness in the strap where the leg stays up and your arms can be free. So go ahead and set this up according to your flexibility. And let your low back stay nestled to the floor. You don't have to put any action necessarily into the foot. You can just let it be. If you find that your low back is cranky, I would try bending your left knee and flattening that foot to the ground. Otherwise, it can extend down the length of the mat. But once you have this position set, close your eyes. Maximize your breath. Deepening both the inflow and releasing with the outflow. We'll use this first side of this pose just to center with your breath, to gain some mental focus. To be grounded in your body. The shoulders soften. The palms can be open or turned down. Take 3 more breaths. And we're going to activate the leg. So extend long through the left leg and left heel. Splay the left toes nice and wide. Feel your glutes even firming up on that side. And now push up through the right heel, spread through the toes, push the foot into the strap, but also allow it to slide open to your right. So you're pressing the foot into the strap, opening the leg to the right side of the body, keeping your left thigh pushing downward so that you stay stable through your hips and pelvis. Now, when we're holding the strap and moving towards this position of Padangusthasana B, sometimes the leg drops a little lower. But you can see that even though the leg stays suspended a little higher, it's still activating and stretching the inner calf, the inner knee, and the adductor muscles in the inner thigh. Let's take a cleansing breath in through the nose, out audibly through the mouth, and then slowly slide the leg back to where you began, and then across your navel, but keeping your low back anchored down. And you're going to feel the stretch through the outside of the leg. Push the inner arch up towards the strap. Feel that sensation fire up. Let go if it's too much. And then we're going to rotate the pinky toe side of the foot up into the strap, up towards the ceiling. so that you can feel that stretch through the outer ankle. Again, if you feel like it's too much, you can leave that portion out. But the ankles are required for our lotus. Now go ahead and take your hands to hold the strap. We're going to remove that foot, plant it down, and then we're going to sail the left leg up in its place. And then check out this side because it may be more or less limber, and you may have to adjust your strap. So hopefully that loose tab is hanging down and you can create any adjustments you need. And then check out your back. See if it feels good. If you slide the right leg forward. Release your arms back down. Close your eyelids. And then be a little bit more relaxed in this first approach. Acknowledging the breath as it comes and goes. So since this is a good time to be reflective on what has kept you bound or stuck or stagnant in your own growth, maybe there are certain things that you know may be prohibiting you taking forward action. And you can be contemplative about that as you breathe out. Gotten colder, and sometimes in the colder weather, the body feels tighter and more stiff. As we work into our muscles, know that he will also help to warm up the body. With that warmth coming in, your body will start to feel more open and pliable. If you get any violent shaking through the leg, that's a warning sign. So maybe bend the knee or loosen the strap. If it's just a slight bit of quivering, that's okay. That's the muscles warming up and waking up. Hold it 3 more breaths. And now start to lengthen out to the back side of the right leg. Put the dorsiflexion in the ankle. Feel the glutes even engage. And then pick up your left heel. Press the foot up into the strap. And then slowly slide the leg over to the left. You only have to go to a certain degree. Keep pushing the foot into the strap, especially from the inner part of the arch. Inhale, let's slide the leg through center. And then you're going to cross it over the body, working into that IT band. Notice if you feel it closer to the knee or higher towards your hip. Push the foot into the strap a little bit more from the mound of the big toe side. If that's too much, you can leave that portion out. And then turn the knife side of the foot up, meaning the pinky toe side of the foot up into the strap. The foot will sickle. And that way you can stretch the outer ankle. And now slide the foot back to center. Hold this strap to remove the foot, and then just let the strap drape down to your chest a moment. Pick up your left foot, let it face the ceiling. Your hand grip is going to be to the outside of the foot. You're allowing that knee to splay off to the left side of your body into a happy baby. So you are actually tugging the foot down, which drives the knee down, which stretches out that hip more. So if we're going for a lotus position, we need the hips to be warmed up and open, as well as the ankles. Magnify your breath here. And then affirming, I am centered on my own growth and transformation. I'm centered on my own growth and transformation. Good, release that foot, plant it down, and then pick up your right foot. Take a hold of the outside of the foot, drive it down towards the right side of your body. And then your left knee can be bent or you can extend it out. It can be active or passive. And then even cross compare the two. Is the sensation lessened or heightened? One last deep breath. Maybe tug down a little bit more on the out breath before you release. All right, bend both knees, roll over to one side of your body. I'm going to change out this music. And then take the strap from around you. Make it a little bit wider, so slide that through. Because we're going to hold the strap really wide overhead. Lifting up through the side body, creating some space in the vertebrae, and then we're going to bring the strap just behind the head, possibly behind your shoulders. Just do what you can, do your best, leave the rest. Breathe into the heart center. Breathe into the front side of the shoulders. So if you were here with me through the chakra series, we talked about each one is portrayed by a lotus flower. Inhale, lift the arms back up. Exhale, release it to your lap. Then we're going to change the hand hold it shoulder distance apart. Bring the arms back up. And if you need to stay right here, fine. This may be plenty. If you want to bring the strap behind your head and feel as though you're passing the baton towards somebody behind you, I don't think that's what they really call it. What is it in a race, a relay race? What do they pass each other? Is it a baton? It's a baton. Okay, that didn't sound right when I said it. All right, inhale, bring the arms back up. Good, exhale, stay rooted and lean to one side. So I want you to think about a lotus flower has its roots in the mud. And then it grows up through the murky water. And it's lifting up towards the sunlight. And the petals just don't shoot straight upward, they radiate to the sides as well. So think about you mimicking one of those petals. Inhale, come back to the top. Exhale, curve to the other side. On Sunday at another studio, I did a restorative and Reiki workshop. And one woman I was working on with Reiki, all her energy was so scattered and my mind was so scattered when I was working on her. And that was the message. I was like, you're very scatterbrained right now. You have no grounding. And when I was getting a reading with her, when I was checking her roots, it was like her feet were sloshing around in just a puddle of water, right? There was no mud. Inhale, bring it all the way back up to the top, and then exhale, let your arms go. So there's a common expression, no mud, no lotus. Let's go ahead and come up to stand. We're gonna start a flow. That's gonna work open the hips a little bit more. So as you root and ground your feet down, separate your toes, and allow the legs to engage, the core to engage, your head to lift up, and the palms to join together. As you inhale, let your arms swim up alongside your ears. And as you exhale, start to swan dive forward and down to your Uttanasana. Gravitate the heart a little lower towards your knees and shins and bow your head. Evenly distribute your weight through the soles of the feet. And then inhale, come halfway up. And exhale, pour right back down. On your next inhalation, take the feet back to plank. Exhale, tip forward, lower down to your Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, rise into your upward facing dog. And exhale, roll it back to downward facing dog. Really spread out through your fingers and push down through your hands and slide back away from your wrists. Heighten your hips. Let the head go. Make sure you have some nice, clear, open breaths. And then on your next inhalation, let's step that left foot all the way up in between the hands. Give yourself a helping hand if need be. Rotate the right foot down to the floor. Take the right arm up and helicopter into your Virabhadrasana 2. Good. So remember here, we're trying to really get into the hips. So you're trying to make sure there's enough distance between the feet so you can really drop that front thigh. Stay stacked over the hips with your shoulders. Let your arms lift up over the legs. Look down at the front thigh. Rotate it open so you can see the big toe. And on your next inhalation, go ahead and lift the arms up alongside your ears and straighten out the front leg. Good. Exhale, come back to warrior 2. Good. Inhale, lift it up. Good. Exhale, lunge into that knee. Nice. One more inhale. And exhale, come right back into the pose. Gaze down the front fingers of that forward hand. And now helicopter down the frame of the front foot, spin away from the back. Left foot to plank. Exhale, rock forward, lower down to Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, roll it back to downward facing dog. Hold and breathe. So every downward facing dog in a Surya Namaskara is meant to be kind of a reset. A time of stillness to return to our breath, to reconnect. On your next in-breath, let's step the right foot through. Once you solidify that foot, lower the back heel. Take your time coming up to warrior 2 position. Your thighs are externally rotating, just as your hips are externally rotating. Vertebrae aligned right over the tailbone. Make any minor adjustments here. And then form that relationship with your breath. Inhale, coming to this position where the front leg straightens, the arms lift. And then as you exhale, returning to warrior two. Continue that a few more rounds. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, re-lunging the knee. Again, inhale, lift up. Exhale, lunge the knee. This time, maintain it. Gain that one-pointed concentration with your eyes. Exhale, bring the hands down, so away from the back heel, right foot plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Exhale to down dog. Hold and breathe. See if you can create more of a lift and length in your thigh bones. And that requires rooting your feet into the imaginary mud. Pressing through the balls of the feet, then your sits bones are like the lily pad coming up out of the water. Let your breath help to calm you here. And feel free to affirm mentally within, calmness radiates within every fiber of my being. Inhale, the left foot steps through. Back heel lowers down. Inhale, coming up to warrior two. All right, we feeling our hips yet? Left hand's gonna open. We're gonna reverse the warrior. Breathe into your left lung. And then exhale, bring the elbow down to the front knee. Right arm reaching towards the sky. Or testing the waters here and seeing if you can set your left fingertips to the inside of the foot. If you do that, use that arm to rock the knee open a little bit. Inhale, coming up, warrior two. Flip the front hand, reverse it. Breathe into it. And now warrior two. Transition, side angle. Your version, your way, your expression. Good, one more of those flows. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, reverse it. Pause here. Breathe here. Pass through warrior two. Take it to side angle. Bring the hands down to frame the front foot, spin away from the back heel. When you're ready, step into plank. Exhale, forward chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Exhale to down dog. This is our reset. Remember, we're focused on the ascension of the energy, the pinnacle of the pose, and that requires our rooting. Like whole expression, no mud, no lotus. If we've been in that holding pattern, we need to recognize what energies we need to release. What is stunting our growth? What is holding us back? Inhale, right foot steps through. Back heel spins down. Rising up, warrior two. I'm going to affirm in here, I joyfully manifest the power of my own strength. Flip your right hand, reverse it. Breathe into that right side body. Pass through warrior two, take it to side angle. Modify, or taking it down a notch. Yogi's choice. Inhale, Virabhadrasana 2. And then reverse it. Hold it. Eventually coming down to side angle, second round. You may find that you need to back up. You may find that you can advance along the way. Inhale, warrior 2. Reverse it. Take Parsvottanasana. And then lower the hands, spin away from that back heel, step into your plank. Exhale to your chaturanga. We're keeping this rolling. Inhale to up dog, bloom up. And exhale, rock and roll back. All right, so we're going to be moving towards a lotus position, which is a sitting position. We've been doing some of these standing asanas in the Iyengar tradition. If you're a beginning student, they teach you a lot of the standing poses before they ever teach you the seated positions to prepare the body to sit, to get the back stronger, and to allow the legs and the hips to open. All right, but a good prerequisite for our lotus position is pigeon. So we're going to go into that now. Lift your left leg skyward. Move into a downward scorpion. And then we're going to unroll the hip, bring that shin just behind the hands, and slide the right leg back behind. All right, we're going to just level the hips here. And when they feel level, you're going to walk it forward and down. When you bring it into your Sphinx arms, test the waters here. If it's still available for your knee, then absolutely surrender more. In that process of letting go. So here, the muscles don't have to stay engaged or contracted. It doesn't melt down. You can use the mindset of simply observing the breath, or you can be more of a participant and you can control the breath. So I want you to notice the position of the front leg, right? There's some pretty extreme flexion in the knee, but that heel is coming in towards the belly or towards the top of that right thigh. And this is why it's a great prelude before Lotus, because Lotus is taking that shape. All right, on your next inhalation, we're slowly going to rise up. We're going to stack onto the hands. We're going to curl the back toes under, and we're going to take it into plank. This will be our last vinyasa. Shift forward and lower down to chaturanga. Inhale, bloom up. Exhale, roll it back. Then we're going to take it to this right side. So inhale, lift your right leg up. Once you scissor the legs, bend the top knee, keep lifting the knee, take that downward scorpion, maybe turning the gaze up underneath the right arm, and then unroll. Bring that shin towards the top of the mat behind your hands. You got it. Slide the left leg back. Level out the hips. Once you have that, come to Sphinx arms and check in. Make sure that knee is still compliant. And if it is, you can spill down more. We slowly start to lift. And as we lift, we're going to roll over to the right hip. So we're going to bring that left leg out in front. Okay. Now, we're going to move that right foot out so the shin is kind of parallel to the chest. And this is really important. You're going to take the underside of your calf and heel, and you're going to try to cross it over to step on top. Okay? So it looks like this. And it's okay if there's a gap. Now, if you look down at your lap, you should see a triangle. If you don't see a triangle, that foot's in too close and you need to push the right foot further out. All right, if this hurts, I want you to take that top leg and cross it over out in front. It doesn't hurt, but it feels wonky. Mine feels wonky. Take your fingertips down and start to really extend long through the stem of the spine. Yeah, and notice you may even close that gap some. And this may be where you want to stay and remain, which is totally fine. Otherwise, you can bring the hands a little farther up alongside the knees, and you can start to hinge over. That still feels really good. You can walk the arms out more and lower down more. Just remember that statement, just because you can doesn't always mean you should. You don't want a sharp shooting sensation. It's okay to have a dull achy sensation. You'll know the difference. Because the sharp shooting is like, kind of takes your breath away. Now, another good kind of prelude to Lotus is to work around the clock here. So if we have like an hour and a half or 2 hour time frame to work up to this, this is what we would be holding for a longer period of time, but we'll go quickly through it. If you take your hands over to the outside of your left thigh and just kind of lean your torso in that direction, generally speaking, we would have held this much longer, maybe 10 to 20 breaths. But go ahead and walk it around towards the right knee, or excuse me, left knee, right foot. And then of course we would hold that longer if we had more time, but we don't, so move it back to center. And you would hold it here, same amount of time, 10 to 20 breaths. And then we'll walk it over towards the right knee and left foot. See how we're just kind of working around the clock here. And then eventually to the outside of the right thigh. So you may feel open in certain places and closed off in certain places. And then we'll bring it up. All right, so let's lean back into the hands, slide the legs out, and just kind of flip off the feet in and out, in and out. We'll take that to the other side. Right knee will bend. Left foot's gonna slide behind that ankle, shin parallel to the chest. We'll carry the underside of the calf over. And the reason why I say the underside, if we grab the top of the shin, the knee stays up, the hip doesn't open. So if we grab the underside, the knee can have that freedom to open up the hip. And then you may find, ooh, this is more doable, or it may not be as doable. Let's check it out. Make sure there's that triangle in your lap. Push down through the fingertips. Shine up to the crown of your head. Again, you may want to stay here with the spine erect. You may want to pour over. I'll let you decipher what you need. So we went clockwise on that previous pose, and we're going to take it counterclockwise on this one, just so that you can feel this in case you want to mimic this later at home. So walk your hands over to the outside of your right thigh. We had a longer time frame, we'd be holding this longer. At least you're getting a taste of it. And then walk it over towards the right knee, left foot. You're bowing over. Come through center. Walk it clockwise or counterclockwise over to the left knee, right foot. And then over to the outside of that thigh. Gently bring it back up. Straighten out your legs. This time we're going to bounce the knees. Take your hands to your fist and kind of slap the piriformis here. And then open up your hands and give a little love, circling the knees. Because Lotus requires a lot for the knees. All right, I think we're ready. You're going to have your strap. All right, so we're going to just play around first to see how your body adjusts to this. So let's just try just the right foot. Grab the underside of the right heel. And take your left hand around to the top of the foot. Yeah. And then see if you can place the right heel on the upper left thigh. Ideally, the heel is kind of in line with your belly button. So you don't want to cross the foot way over. So you can kind of do that measurement here. If that seems fairly easy for you, great. If it's difficult, you may find the left side is better. Yeah. Don't force it. Let's just attempt the left side. So grab the underside of your left heel. Right hand's going to go to the top of that foot. You're spinning the sole of the foot to kind of face up towards your chest. Heel in line about where the belly button would be. We'll just test that out. Left side's a little easier? Yeah. So if the left side is easier for you, you're going to stay here and prop your right ankle underneath. If you found that it was about equal or your right side was good, you're going to take your right foot back on top first. And keep that left heel in front of the right knee, because when you lean forward, that knee will spill to the floor and you can scoop up underneath the left foot and you can do the full lotus. There you go. Yeah. Now, if you have, I don't think anybody has slip clothing on. It looks like we all have cotton on. But if you have slip clothing, you would want to flex your ankles, and this would keep you locked and bound. Okay. So if you need just your left foot on top, great. If that is starting to hurt, I would rather you do Sukhasana with your ankles up underneath your calves. Now, this requires a lot of instruction, so just pay attention and then we'll get into it and I can help you. This strap, 8-foot strap, is used to create the bind in case you can't hold Lotus if your feet slip apart, or if you can only do half, or if you have to modify doing the easy pose. So you're gonna take the strap under the foot and over the knee. If you're in the full Lotus, you're gonna take it under the knee. Okay, and the bracket you want in front because you may have to tighten or loosen it. All right, then I'm gonna go ahead and show you from this position. Then you're holding this up and you're spinning it. So you see how it looks like a sign of infinity or a figure 8. That's the idea. Yep. Then you take this top loop and you take it around the other thigh and catch the foot if there's a foot below. Yes. And then we pull this bracket up and we tighten and tighten and tighten and tighten until we're bound. Okay?
This is where you wish it.
Do you need help?
Yeah, I don't know if I followed the instructions well enough.
Okay. It's a lot. It's a lot. Which is why this is like a good workshop thing, but someone requested this that was moving and she really wanted to do the sequence again. So I did it for her yesterday and I thought, well, we'll do it there. See how that's keeping you bound? And you can always pull the loose end to, you look good. You could even say in your Lotus if you wanted. How are you?
My injuries won't allow me to get to Lotus.
That's okay. That's okay.
I'm happy here.
You're bound there. Exactly. That's the great thing about the strap. You don't have to be in the full Lotus. So the first thing we're going to do, let me get back into it, is we're going to take the hands under the thighs, and then we lean forward into the hands. And I'm kind of up on more of my base knuckles and fingertips a little bit. And then you scoop in your belly and you use your hip flexors and arm strength to lift up into a balancing pose. It's an arm balance. It's okay if you can't do it. And sometimes it's because our arms just aren't long enough, and using blocks can sometimes help, which makes it kind of fun. There you go. Yes. That was awesome. That was awesome. And if you can do that, maybe take yourself back just for fun. And we're going to use the hands to shift forward. This is another pose that shows up in Ashtanga Yoga, which you can try to balance in. I can't fully get it. Sometimes using a wall or another person, if you're doing like partner yoga, it can be fun in. That's it. Now, this is going to look like it may hurt, but it doesn't hurt. We're going to walk the hands forward. And we're going to continue to walk the hands forward until we lower down to the belly and maybe even extend the arms out. So if you walk your hands more forward so the hips can come with you.
But I can't do the other arm.
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, just be there then. Stop anywhere along the way. Now, if you want to come out of this, your hands come under your shoulders and you push up. And some people even like to do push-ups here, so that you're getting the benefits of Lotus, but you're also building some upper body strength. You don't have to do that, but it's kind of fun too. And then when you walk your hands back, you're going to slowly sit back on your seats. And this is where you could do a forward fold to open up your ankles. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. And you kind of lean forward to open up your hips, and notice how it opens up the ankles too. There's like a really long sequence we could be doing with this. We're going to do an abbreviated sequence. And then inhale, you're going to bring it up. All right, another thing we can do is lean into the sits bones, take the knees, lift the chest. Another balancing pose of lotus. Yeah. And then release. So I'll show you this really quick and then you can try it. Walking my feet again. So you can move towards, I'm just going to do a modified tranquility. I'm going to keep my hands on my back. But the legs are kind of more parallel to the floor. And this is called tranquility. You can also take your hands to hold up your knees, but with something I have going on with my neck right now, I'm going to use my hands for support. So you're welcome to try this. Some people like to even move more towards a shoulder stand, lifting the knees skyward. And if you bring the knees back down, fingertips down, you can roll to your back. Yep. Let your knees lower, pump up your chest, and take the head back into a form of fish. And this is actually more of the traditional fish pose. We tend to do it with legs straight because, well, there's many reasons. One, most people can't do this pose. All right, let's gently bring it up. And let's unwind. Because that's a lot. So once you release the strap, I know, give it a moment. I know. That's what I was gonna say. Rotate your ankles. Because that's a lot for feet. It's a lot for the knees too. So by the way, I read an article years ago that said that there is a difference with the Asian population in that they have naturally more flexible joints. And so remember, this pose is considered a perfect pose, but it also stems from the East where they have more flexibility in the joints. We have to kind of work up for it. With that being said, some of the Asian population that's grown up in the United States may not have that flexibility because they've been using furniture and toilets like we do. And a lot of those cultures, you go to like India, for instance, you go to public restroom and it's a hole in the ground and you're having to squat. So think about in those cultures, they're squatting a lot to cook, to clean, to be in the fields. And we don't do that as much in our modern society. So it gives us a little bit of a disadvantage. All right, time to relax. That was our big build up heat pose today. Hope you liked it. And had fun with it. We're gonna take, you don't have to do a back bend, but if you wanted to use your bolster for a hard opening position, you're welcome to. If you feel like your back needs to be more flat, you can slide it under your knees. Go ahead and close the eyes. And take a rest in your body. And let your mind begin to slow down. Since you're all in heart opening positions, I want you to imagine down into your heart, there is a lotus blooming. The roots of that lotus are embedded in some of your past conditioning, some of your life experiences. with your ancestral roots. Allow this lotus that's blooming to be on the green lily pad. Lotus appear to be pink. For green and pink are the colors of this energy center. Feel free to keep this imagery to meditate on. Feel free to consider its symbology of purity, rebirth, enlightenment, and transformation. Into deep in the flow of your pranayama. Feel the wave of the breath roll up into your heart. Begin to bend your knees. Perhaps even rocking them side to side. In a little bit of a twist factor. And then turn over to one side completely. Build yourself up to take a seat. Sitting upright. And since we focused on a lotus today, let's do a lotus hand mudra. The wrists are together, the pinkies and the thumbs are together. The other fingers represent the petals. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Means celebrate the jewel of the lotus, the spirit within your own heart. We all take time to reflect, take some time to be still, to release any energy that's holding us back, so that we can flourish and grow towards the light, just like the lotus. The light and the love within me honors and vows to the same within each of you. Stay. Thank you guys for joining us today. Thank you.